Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of 30 Teams in 30 Days here on Inside the Zone with Mateo. So glad you decided to click on this video, and as always, I hope you were entertained. For those who may not know, my name is Mateo, and I host all the podcasts here on the channel. We normally cover Minnesota sports, but for the past 30 days, starting June 1st, 2026, we've been covering every single NBA team. 30 Teams in 30 Days is where we take a deep dive into each NBA team during the month of June, and boys, we have literally covered every single team except the Oklahoma City Thunder in the past 29 days. It's been one heck of a journey. I've appreciated all the support. You guys have showed up to almost all these videos, and now it's crazy to say this is it. This is the last episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days. We're talking about the Thunder. Today's episode is going to be shorter because, again, if you guys know how this works, where we just really preview their offseason, take a look at their season, this team is not that far away from a championship. They just won it 2 years ago. They were in the Western Conference Finals. They lost to the Spurs. So this is going to be a pretty quick episode, but at the end of the episode, I'm going to highlight all the videos, and we're going to reveal which video to this point has had the most amount of views and support. We're going to highlight those fan bases. So it's going to be a little special episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days because at the end of the day, the OKC Thunder, we don't really got to talk much about them. But for those who may not know, if this is the first episode you're ever tuning into this series, maybe you're a Thunder fan, we've been going from worst record to best record. So we started with the Wizards and we're ending with the Thunder. So hold up here. We got some news as I'm recording this. And Andrew Wiggins, and you're going to see this already. I'm recording this the day before this video is going to be put out. But just in, Miami Heat forward Andrew Wiggins just signed a 3-year extension in Miami. Because, again, I'm not recording this video on the 30th. I'm recording this on the 29th. So you guys already know that happened, but I was just getting that now. But anyway, we've been going from worst record to best record. And so, really, it's pretty much easy to explain. Let's get into it. Mateo Show batting order, which, by the way, this is going to be the final appearance of Mateo Show batting order. You know, it's been here with me since the start of the podcast last year, but we're moving on from this segment. We're going to put it in the archives, but it's been a show roadmap, just to kind of get you an idea of where we're going. And the 5 things have been on this batting order for every episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days. How well did they do last season? Who they should draft, who they should keep, who they should target, and what is their early ceiling and floor. So without further ado, for one last time, sit back, relax, and let us talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last season, the 2025-2026 season, obviously, was a pretty dang good, successful season, except, they couldn't stay healthy, which I do think, forced them to maybe, lose a championship. But despite that, 64-18 was their record. Absolutely insane record. They were the first seed in the Western Conference. SGA went crazy. He won his second straight MVP. And by the way, we're not going to talk about the draft, and I'm kind of salty about the draft because the draft already happened. We don't have to really preview the draft anymore. I'm salty. Y'all know how much I've liked Daimara. And guess who was able to take Daimara? The OKC Thunder ended up with him, and I'm a little bit mad about that, so we're going to ignore that already happened. But what we're not going to ignore is how well OKC played last season. And, this team is just insane. It's a generational team. SGA went crazy as normal, winning another MVP. And, what else can we say? What else can we say? By the way, SGA was not their leader in rebounds. I just felt like putting it in there. Chet Holmgren was their leader in rebounds. SGA averaged 31.1 points per game, 6.6 assists, and then 4.3 rebounds. Chet Holmgren, I apologize. Minnesota native. I support you guys. I support you. I'm from Minnesota. I cover Minnesota sports, but 8.9 rebounds for Chet Holmgren. He also had 17.1 points per game and 1.9 assists per game. J-Dub really struggled to stay healthy, only played 33 games. He also averaged 17.1 points per game in that span of time, 4.6 rebounds and 5.5 assists. AJ Mitchell, in 57 games played, actually averaged 13.6 points per game. Isaiah Joe averaged 11.1 points per game. Jared McCain, incoming, after the trade deadline, averaged 10.4 points per game. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Hartenstein, so many important pieces. Carson Wallace, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Kenrick Williams, Alex Caruso had a kind of a down year offensively, but was so good defensively. Topic finally got to play. I mean, you just keep going down this roster, and they're all so talented and so young, maybe minus Alex Caruso. Isaiah Hartenstein also had an insane year as well. This team, if no one, everybody thought this team was just basically unbeatable, but at the end of the day, injuries and health is a sports team's biggest enemy. If you cannot stay healthy, things can go wrong. As a Minnesota fan, I know this exceptionally well, but I do believe if Jalen Williams had not missed so many games, he missed about 50 games included, and then he also had missed a bunch of playoff games. I do think this team would have beaten the Knicks, beaten the Spurs, and would have won the NBA title back-to-back years. But at the end of the day, that is not what happened. And so this has left some questions, saying, Chet was a pretty bad in the Western Conference Finals. Jalen Williams can't stay healthy. People are wondering, should they trade him? At the end of the day, I don't think they should trade any of their players. I think they should really run it back. They actually have traded a couple. They traded Isaiah Joe already, and then probably they're going to trade a couple other players. They were actually able to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, which I thought was very intriguing. I thought he was going to end up leaving them. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the Thunder here next season. Obviously, they don't have to do much. They're super close to contending for yet another championship, if not already. They're still built, even if they lose Isaiah Joe and some other players. Lou Dort's been a name that's maybe been brought up a lot about a potential trade, maybe Jalen Williams. We'll talk about it towards the end of the episode. But at the end of the day, I really do think this team should keep most of their team intact. Again, injuries definitely affected them a lot. And, if any other team would have if any other team would have had as many injuries as the Thunder would have had, there's no way they would win 64 games. But that just is a testament to how deep the Thunder truly are. Obviously, they have the MVP on their team. But it was really a really interesting season for the OKC Thunder. Before we go into free agency, here's a quick look at their depth chart. SGA, AJ Mitchell are kind of their point guards right now, with also Jared McCain being able to play there. But he's also their backup two, with them losing Isaiah Joe because now Lou Dort is their starting two. You also got Carson Wallace there. J-Dub, Carson Wallace, Alex Caruso are your threes. On your four position, you got Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso, Kenrich Williams. And then for your center is Isaiah Hartenstein and Jalen Williams. And also now you have Adai Morrow, who I'm super annoyed that they got. But at the end of the day, that's who they ended up getting. I just realized I'm saying at the end of the day because I don't know. That's stuck in my head. And at the end of the day, what else can you say? It's the OKC Thunder. Definitely the team I hate on the most. But I still respect y'all, Thunder fans. So appreciate it if you would hit that like button and subscribe button here on our road to 300 subscribers. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see how this team is constructed. And I'm really interested. There's some teams that I'm not really interested to see what they do in the offseason. I'm really interested to see what the OKC Thunder do here in the 2026 offseason because I do think they have the potential to make some moves if they really do want to. They have so many draft picks. I'm just intrigued, boys. I'm intrigued. All right. But, enough about that. Let's go over to free agency. We split free agency into two separate sections here in 30 teams in 30 days. The first half is taking a look at their own free agents. And by the way, this is going to go super quickly. They just got Lou Dort, Kenrich Williams, and then a couple of these younger dudes that at the end of the day, they don't really, dude, I got to stop saying that. They don't have roster spots for those guys. That's supposed to be an X. I don't really care. My pen's not working today, but they don't really need them. They just don't. Kenrich Williams, I think they just need to decline that club option because they don't have a roster spot. And I do think they will end up taking Lou Dort's club option and then probably trading him. So that makes this section really easy. And guys, it's crazy. I'm just going to do a bunch of check marks because, boys, this is crazy, dude. We're on our final episode. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're on our final episode. It's really crazy, guys. It's really crazy. If you can't tell, I'm a little excited. It's been a grind, but it's been really a real fun series to make for sure. And now here we go. The second half of free agency, we're going to try to predict who the Thunder will target, who they'll pursue, who they'll try to sign, either by the open market or by a trade. Here's a list of top targets. One thing, really, Jaylen Brown, the only kind of superstar out there that I think this could make this team better. And obviously, they just need health. If they can stay healthy, this team probably wins 70 games next season. And they win the championship. So health is a big thing, but I wanted to say here we got to throw in a trade, at least one trade here to close the series. So I said, if any trade could happen, I definitely do believe that it could be this one. So let's go over to Fanspo. Obviously, they could make some small free agency moves, but sorry, I don't want to keep saying at the end of the day, but really it is. At the end of the day, they don't have that roster spots. They don't have the cap space to do that. So Jaylen Brown, I feel like could make a lot of sense. He'd probably be that Jalen Williams replacement. So Jalen Williams on that Supermax, I believe, would get traded to the Boston Celtics for Jaylen Brown, which I think is a very fair deal. But I also think you'd need something else. I'd probably guess it'd probably end up being Lou Dort. I don't know why Isaiah Joe's not traded yet. Fanspo just hasn't updated that yet. And then if you really want picks, because they've been saying they want picks, well, guess what? You got all these 20, 27. You got to throw in a 27 pick. You can throw in a 20-30 pick. You can throw even in another 28 first-round pick. Like, you don't really need these picks at the end of the day. Man, I kind of stop saying that. This would actually not work. What's actually going on here? You're not able to... Oh, because it's just the second apron. So they'd have to figure out something with that second apron. But again, something like this could end up working when you put it all together. It's just because the Thunder, with all that salary, they might even have to throw in another bigger salary just to make this trade work. But as you can see, it's actually pretty easy to match those salaries, and that's really all that matters when you're talking about trades. So things could happen. You can make it work. Let's see if there's any trade pieces that see if any people are putting out here on fanspo.com. Fanspo.com is an amazing website. So please go ahead and go support this website. It's an amazing website. Go sign up. It's a free account. I really do think you guys would love this. And if you've been watching for 30 teams in 30 days, we use it every single episode. So here's a Lou Dort trade. Yeah, because this is the stuff that I feel like is most likely to happen. Lou Dort going to the Pacers for Obi Toppin, Jay Huff, and a couple second-round picks. I actually think that benefits both teams, so I would not be opposed to that trade for Lou Dort. I don't want to do a huge shakeup. This would be actually Isaiah Hartenstein getting re-signed, and that's what he actually did. He got re-signed. The Thunder just basically take 2 second-round picks for what, Aaron Wiggins? Like, just to say that salary, yeah, I mean, that could work. I don't know. 2 second-round picks. I think you could try to get a first-round pick for Aaron Wiggins, and I think the Hawks have enough that you could consider trying to, hey, could you take this? And I think that they potentially listen. This one just caught my eye here. Jaylen Brown going to the Hawks, as well as Hartenstein, Tobic, and Ron Harper Jr. going to the Hawks. Kuminga, Okongwu, Buddy Hield, 3 first-round picks, and a second-round pick, or 2 second-round picks, go to the Celtics. And then Dyson Daniels going to the Thunder to give the Thunder another guard, because they're definitely forward-heavy other than really SGA and Jared McCain. So, I mean, I could see that happening as well. But, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'd be also surprised. Ooh, I saw this. This is interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting. A 1-for-1 center swap. Holmgren goes to the Pistons, and Jalen Duren goes to the Thunder. I like that. I like that a lot. You'd have to figure it out financially. But, oh, man, do I kind of like that a lot. Oh, yeah. Dude, if something like this happens, I would be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And I don't think it's going to most likely happen. I think most likely here, realistically, the Thunder keep their team relatively the same. Maybe they trade Lou Dort. Maybe they don't. And they just run it back because they have a good enough team. They still have probably, in my opinion, the best team in the NBA. So that's what I'm thinking. They just got to stay healthy. So that's why it's the second target, because it's not really a target. It's just you need to stay healthy. And that's where I'm thinking about. That's how I'm thinking about the OKC Thunder. So last thing, for the last time, ceiling and floor is going to have 2 bullet points stating their ceiling. If they do or don't, you make the moves I suggest. And just like the Spurs yesterday, it doesn't change. Whatever they do, it doesn't matter. This team is still a contender unless, of course, they sell other players and then they just rebuild. But that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. So really, they don't have to do necessarily anything. They could try to go grab someone. Maybe, maybe not. It really doesn't matter. Guess what? At the end of the day, it does not matter because this team is still a top 2, top 3, top 1 team in the NBA. I really do think this team is the best team. Do I like it? No. Do we have to live with it? Yes. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching this series yet again, because this has been a series that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's just crazy that I was able to do it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And before we end this episode, I wanted to highlight the episodes. Now, the final 2 episodes have not been published yet, and even if they did, they probably wouldn't have that many views if I showed it. Actually, you wouldn't be seeing this episode because it hasn't been published yet. And then the 29th, the Spurs one yesterday, hasn't been published yet when I'm recording this video. But here's a look at the 28 episodes so far. We have done them all. We have done all these teams. Y'all can see it. Let's sort by most popular. Bam! Shout out! Shout out to the Chicago Bulls, because you Bulls fans, as much as you guys hated me for having some terrible takes in that, especially about Josh Giddey's position, I don't care. We can disagree. I love to have conversations. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way. If you disagreed with anything I said, let me know. Shout out to you guys. Almost 700 views from 2 weeks ago. That's literally, for me, you might be saying, that's nothing. For me, that's a big deal. For the Trailblazers, they got me almost 600. Insane. Raptors almost 400. The Nets 200. The Wizards showed up. The first episode of the series showed up. Jazz showed up. That is 6 videos, over 200 views. Is absolutely insane, and thank you guys so much. And then a bunch of these episodes too are much newer, from like a week, less than 10 days ago. So obviously they have less video views, and that's okay. And really, at the end of the day, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this for views. I am doing this for you guys. So each of you guys, because I've had so many questions and comments. I just talked about Minnesota sports, and not just Minnesota sports fans, watch these videos and they ask, hey, can you do a video about my favorite team? Well, there you guys go. I got it. And this is now going to officially conclude 30 teams in 30 days. I can't believe we've actually done it. Shout out to you guys for also hitting that subscribe button. We have grown this channel so quickly through this time. It's been amazing. But at the end of the day, we cannot forget the most important thing of our lives. Here's a quick look at the schedule if you really care about this. At the end of the day, you can't forget God, because God let this happen, and I'm so thankful to him. And if you know me, I keep God at the center of what I do. We do Kingdom Competitors every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we take a look at Christian athletes and what they believe. My faith is really the most important thing. That's why I was gone all last week. I was serving at a church camp. That's what I was doing. I was literally the biggest week in NBA history. I was like, hey, God, what do you want me to do? I went and served at that camp. And it was the best thing in my life. Sure, did I miss the LaMelo trade? Yes. Sure, did I miss the Giannis trade? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's worth it, because sports, sure, they're good and amazing, but God is so much better. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, but also this series. And I'll be back start on Thursday, which will be, July 2nd, with a brand new episode of Inside the Zone with Mateo. We'll resume, our episodes every Tuesday and every Thursday. It's going to be fun. We'll maybe throw in some bonus episodes if needed. Kingdom Competitors at 10 a.m. Eastern. Dude, oh man, I can't believe we've done it. Appreciate you guys for watching. And most importantly, don't forget to keep God first, because he's the most important thing in your lives. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.